Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Rachel Cave in St. John. We begin tonight in Halifax, where a knife attack on a busy street has put a man in hospital. He is facing life-threatening injuries. The CBC's David Thurton spoke with a witness to the attack.
Spring Garden Road, Halifax, a major car and pedestrian zone, busy most times of the day. That's why some are shocked to hear what happened.
We're tourists, so that's kind of scary to hear.
Halifax is really getting bad. Used to love it here.
The incident happened near Spring Garden and Dresden Road just around 10 p.m. and just early enough for people to be walking around to hear and see what happened.
We were just up the street here, and I didn't hear anything. I heard a lot of sirens, but I thought it was just like passing by, but then they kept getting louder and then it sort of stopped.
Tara McKay lives nearby and went to see what was happening.
People seemed kind of out of sorts and they left. They obviously went to go to the hospital, and I thought, I think something serious happened here, so I waited and talked to the police.
She told the officer she works for Jennifer's in Nova Scotia, a local craft store just steps away from the crime scene. They reviewed the shop's security footage and saw the incident captured on the store's camera.
He went directly for him. He got his knife out on the corner, held it in his hand, went right for him over and over and over again. And the guy fought with everything that was within him. And his friend helped him out, trying to pull the guy off of him, and eventually dipping on his hand repeatedly to knock the knife out of his hand.
Police say they believe the victim and the suspect know each other. They say the suspect is still at large, but faces attempted murder charges. David Thurton, CBC News, Halifax.
In Halifax, about 60 people demonstrated in front of police headquarters, pressing for continued action in the Ratea Parsons investigation. Members of Ratea's family were also at the demonstration. The event was planned earlier in the week, before police announced that they were reopening the investigation. On Friday, police said a person had come forward with new and credible information. The Parsons family has asked the public to give police time to work through that information. Ratea was also remembered at a vigil in PEI last night. About 80 people gathered outside Province House in Charlottetown. Some held candles, some wore pink, a color that has become a symbol of the anti-bullying movement. Organizers said Ratea could have been anyone's daughter. They wanted to show that bullying is a community problem and there needs to be more public discussion about stopping it. Voters in the riding of Kent in New Brunswick will go to the polls in a by-election tomorrow. The seat has been vacant since former Premier Sean Graham left politics after being found in conflict of interest. With candidates for all three parties, including Liberal leader Brian Gallant, there is speculation about whether the Liberal stronghold will change hands. The polls open Monday morning at 10 o'clock. Maritime Bus is getting ready to launch a pilot project to provide bus service to the northern part of New Brunswick. There will be a run between Campbellton and Moncton. The idea is to give passengers a chance to catch connecting buses to Nova Scotia and other parts of New Brunswick. The project is expected to start next month. Canada's National Basketball League is showcasing some of its top players this weekend in St. John. Yesterday was the popular slam dunk competition, and while fans are coming out, the league still has some challenges to overcome in the Maritimes. The CBC's Matthew Bingley reports.
About a dozen people watch as the Atlantic Conference All-Stars run drills at Harbour Station. Around them, a lot of empty seats that need to be filled. St. John Millrat's head coach David Cooper says the team's fan base has grown this year, but they still need many more.
We're getting there, but I think we're about 300 to 500 off. That number right there would be great for us. And a couple big games, a couple 3,000, 5,000 draws would be awesome.
But at least Cooper knows where his team will be playing next year. Summerside Storm coach Joe Salerno doesn't have that luxury. The team's contract with Credit Union Place ran out at the end of its season.
For a town of 14,000 people or so that Summerside is, for us to average 2,000 a game, I think that's a great number, and I think we were still probably in the top half for attendance in the league, so, Summerside right now is where we've been playing at, and, who knows what will happen in the months coming.
Salerno says all he can really do is focus on basketball and leave the business side of things to others. Matthew Bingley, CBC News, St. John.
Still in St. John, a boil water order has been lifted for part of the Forest Forest Hills area on the city's east side. The order was put into place last week after a contractor ruptured a pipeline. Water crews tried to use a temporary water line, but it did not provide enough pressure to reach higher elevations. This was the third boil water order the City Hall has issued so far this year. The PEI government says the minimum carapace size of canner lobsters should not be increased. A recent report by the island's seafood industry and the province says an increase would be harmful to the economy. The report was done shortly after the lobster industry in New Brunswick lobbied Ottawa for the size increase. PEI Fisheries Minister Ron McKinley says he will follow up with his federal counterpart, Keith Ashfield, to discuss the findings of the report. Well, no doubt a young driver is feeling shaken tonight after accidentally driving up a traffic sign and flipping her car this afternoon in Dartmouth. The woman, in her early 20s, was sent to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries after the crash, which put the car on its side. She was trapped inside for about 30 minutes and had to be cut from the car with the jaws of life. Police are still investigating the cause of the crash. On Prince Edward Island, a 22-year-old man from Crapeau is facing charges after two separate church break-ins. Police say they caught the suspect Thursday entering the Presbyterian Church in North Tryon. After searching his home, police say they discovered property linked to a second church break-and-enter. Well, still ahead, I'll have your complete forecast for the Maritimes. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Welcome back. Still a lot of precipitation in the forecast across the region. The good news is New Brunswick and Nova Scotia will see temperatures in the double digits, not PEI though. Let's start by looking at the forecast in Nova Scotia. Monday brings a mix of sun and cloud and a high of 6 degrees. Tuesday, a 40% chance of showers warming up to 8. Wednesday, showers going up to 11. Thursday, partly sunny and a high of 9, and then Friday, a 40% chance of showers or flurries and a high of 10 degrees. In New Brunswick, Monday brings a mix of sun and cloud, a high of 9. Tuesday, still around a high of 9 with periods of rain. Wednesday, sunshine and a high of 13. Thursday, a mix of sun and cloud, a high near 11. Friday, showers or flurries and a high near 13. On Prince Edward Island, Monday brings sunshine, partly, and a high near 4. Tuesday, a 60% chance of showers and a high near 7. Wednesday, a 60% chance of showers and a high near 8. Thursday, you'll see rain and a high near 5 degrees. Friday, a 40% chance of flurries or showers and a high of 9. Well, many people have said that winter is lingering a little too long this year, but here is a sure sign of spring. In Halifax, the public gardens will open their gates for regular hours starting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. The gates were open for some days this winter, but for the rest of the summer season, visitors to the Victorian Gardens will enjoy unrestricted access during daylight hours. That is our program. Thank you for watching. For your latest local news, tune into CBC Radio 1 starting at 5:30 tomorrow morning. And for news anytime, go to cbc.ca. Good night and have a great week.